are what we call, sorry. This guy is a representative of SAP responsible for time, I guess. So he commented about it.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's an SCN actually.
Bhavani here. I think they had bought Chronos, the time interface, right? So is it with the Chronos or some other third
No,
party?
it's not with Kronos. They did not bought Kronos, right? They initially thought of buying Kronos, but did not work out.
Okay. Okay, maybe some other provider.
Maybe this time they would like to go with work for software, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Again, as I said, I mean, nothing is official,
Okay,
but
okay.
SAP folks itself, when I spoke to them, said they would acquire something by next year.
Okay.
Right. So this is something that I wanted to show, especially because of the migration that we had with foundation objects moving to MDF, and the MDF objects are not the associations are working the opposite way. As I said, opposite. I mean, wait a second. Wait a second. Right. So you see, so this is what I was talking about. So, for example, you have a org unit, I mean department and division, and at a department level, so the source field name, you see this one. So this one is what I was talking about. This is a new source code. I mean, this is the code that you need to insert to make sure your associations behave correctly. Okay, so for those, as I said, customers who are facing this association error, which happens opposite. Like for example, instead of selecting company first and then select cost center, system asks you to select cost center first and then the company, which is wrong. So in order to make sure the parent-child relationships work top to bottom, so this is what you have to do. At the child level, you need to put destination field value in the field criteria, and the source field name is the internal ID. Same is the case, for example, location has a association with legal entity, and again the associations are not working correctly, and this is what you have to put. So I'll just show you the code here. You see here, so this is field criteria. Destination field value should be the object, and the source field name is your the ID of the object. So this is something that you need to put, which is something I was about to show last week, but unfortunately we could not see this. But yeah, this is a line that you need to insert when you face such issues. Okay, so that's about your field criteria option that we're talking about, the issues that customers face. And obviously there's a good scenario that you can talk about when you go to interviews, like what are the recent issues that you faced, what is a complex situation, what happened, why. So this is something that you can talk about. Okay, with that being said, so let's move our discussion to events, event reasons, and workflows. To start with, events. As I said, there are 25 standard events which we cannot change. So you need to make sure you use as one of those events and continue with whatever you have. But let's say, for example, if a customer is not using those events, let's say you're using only 5 events within success factors, and you don't want to use the remaining 20, what will you guys do?
Even the same will be happening at SAP level also. There will be standard actions will be there, but we will sync those actions with our parameters or whatever the country Molga and all, so that we will get our required actions, and remaining will not be appeared at the user level.
In success factors, events will not appear at all at a user level. Okay, so this is in success factors. Events are only triggered after you make the changes and approval is done. So events are not something that a user will choose and then execute in success factors. It's opposite. You make the changes, whatever you want, triggers it, and system identifies the event reason from where it goes to the event. So that's how it works. So the point is, I've seen people doing this mistake in the projects. They just simply go delete the events from the success factor system. Okay, let's go to checklist. This one is usually available. Remember this job one as a batch job or something when it exceeds 4,000 lines of records in your pick list or any other record that you try to download. Even employee data when you try to download, once it crosses a certain number, it runs as a job actually. So it looks like it's taking its own sweet time. Usually when we download our pick list, it simply comes, but now it's not. It's one of those reasons, as I said. Here you go. So not sure, it's still loading. Yes, yeah. So, yes, Babu, go ahead.
Is this like if the existing 25 events are not sufficient as per the requirement, still we cannot do anything to add anything or create something
No, you
or
cannot do anything.
modify this according to that, change it
You
completely?
can you can change the labels.
Okay. Functionality side, can we do
So what functionality will you change?
suppose any action, any event which is not sufficient for this 25 with the user requirement?
That's what functionality will you change?
I'm just
Like
I don't
in
in
SAP,
my mind.
we can hide some info types, activate some more info types in one action. Like that, can we do in these events? Can we mask
See
some
here,
or add
as I
some?
said, event here is just for our reporting purpose. Otherwise, I don't see any other reason why we need these things.
Okay. It
Agree?
is not like SAP that whenever the induction happen, they have to maintain like this. Not such. You mean to say, right?
Sorry, what is that? What is
Not
that? Sorry.
compulsory that you have to initiate the event hiring, then like next go for a promotion. It's not like that. Just we do changes and event triggers automatically. That's what you said, right?
Right. So for example here, if you look at it, so there is the standard set of events. Okay, so you have assignment completion, job change, completion of probation, data change, and then we've got demotion, one-time bonus, family status change, furlough is nothing but inactive, hire, job reclassification, leave of absence, and then you have long-term disability, that's deleted. So pay rate change, position change, promotion, probation, promotion, rehire. So all these are different set of events that are active in the system. Okay, so these events, as I said, are around 25, and you cannot make any changes to this list. And if your customer has a requirement which says, let's say instead of suspension, you want to call it a different thing, then you can simply change the text, that means the label, but
Okay.
you cannot change anything that is existing with the other things in the system.
Okay.
Okay, so you can change the label as you wish, but other things should remain the same, especially the ID, because this is with which it recognizes as per standard success factors. So you don't change anything else. Only thing that you can change is whether you can activate it or you can delete it. And you can also, as I said, you can change the labels here. So this is something that you can do. And remember, this does not have any impact, or this does not have anything anywhere in the system. Only thing that we work on is you work on event reasons. So I was talking about this. So a customer wanted, let's say, only 5 events out of this. And yes.
Praveen Gaurav. Ajay just mentioned that we should not delete any specific events if you do want to use them, right?
Uh-huh.
But just since a lot of deletion options available in that
Those
particular
are standard SAP did stuff, okay? So it's something that they did previously. We never do it. So, and I mean, sometimes students might do, but in standard success factors, so as the 25 that you have, so SAP might have made some changes to their pick list some time back, and they still be displayed if they deleted with some label and put it with a different one. If they did that also, it's still available. And remember one important thing, as I said, you should, that's what I'm talking about. A customer had around 5 events that they want to use, nothing else. And the consultant, what he did was he just completely deleted other 20 things and just put 5 things. Okay. Later customer decided to use a new one. Do you think you can be able to do that?
No,
You
of
cannot.
course, no.
Because once deleted, it's deleted. You have to create a new one. You cannot put the same name with the ID. So they could not do it. Then they have to go back to SuccessFactors, do something in the backend, and then come back with a solution. So I hope you guys don't want to do that. So don't touch these events because you don't need to.
One more question. If you look in that particular Excel, whatever the list you
Naveen Babu here.
Yes.
I haven't finished.
If that is the case, why he provided that option to delete?
Let's say a good one. So they provides option because it's not just for events. So they gave the option for all the pick lists, right? So you have an option in pick list to delete. So that's something that you can use for other pick lists, not for events.
Okay. Is there any such permissions that we can restrict the consultant to not to delete?
No, you cannot. You cannot.
Okay.
Hello? Sorry.
Yes.
If you look at that particular Excel, we have an activity, activity delete. Okay. So can you open an Excel once?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Your voice is very low.
If you look in that particular status is an active, if you go down or drag it down, you have a delete, right? Deleted. If you look at this 2588,
Right.
right? It's been deleted, right? If I want to activate, so that can be activated, right?
This one, if you just simply put active,
Yes.
no, I don't think so.
So if that particular case, even we are trying to change an activity as an active from the deleted.
So you can change it from active to deleted, but I don't think you cannot do the opposite.
If it's the case, like, what's the fun to keep that?
Don't have an option as inactive, Praveen?
No, there is no option called inactive.
Or
Guys, don't touch it. That's a simple line. I mean, we don't need to discuss so much. You should not touch events. One single line. Okay, because that's standard, and don't make any changes. Simple. Because we're not supposed to make any changes here. I'm just telling you examples of cases when people did something and faced problems. All this is to say, do not touch.
okay.
Okay, so the point is, I really don't make any changes to it because you should not. You're not supposed to. You have options to delete it, as I said. I mean, or change your translations because that's some. I mean, you need to put some new text instead of that one. So in that case, that's fine. But if you don't have any of those requirements, never touch the events in the pick list because they are supposed to be standard. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Excel sheet, we could see that that even 25 events with multiple deleted, active, and all. Can we see standard existing 25 what we see in PA40 like that? Can we see those in SF screen?
no, we don't see them in SF screen.
You
So the ones that are deleted, if you look at it, their IDs are different. So this is their code, and this one, and this one. This is an old one, and this is a new one. So this TR has been deleted. It's no longer used. Similarly, rehire, this was empty. I mean, I'm not sure what it is, but this is the latest one that is currently used. Even for hire, you should see H, which is standard success factors. So this is the one which is active, and this is empty, and you don't use it. So as I say, don't touch them. Don't worry about them. So you have 25 events, as I say. Keep them as is. Only change the labels if you like to do so. Otherwise, avoid touching them because it's not so good idea to delete them or change or do something there. Or as I said, you cannot create as well. So system recognizes them only the way they are. If you make any changes except the label, it does not recognize them. It creates a problem. Don't get into those problems. It takes you to a long way to get them resolved. So coming back, so let's talk about event reasons. So event reasons are something that you're free to do. You're free to create as you wish. But remember, as I said, system recognizes event reasons based on the logic we put, but it's only available for the changes that you do at a job info level, because this is the place where the system triggers the event reasons based on the changes that you make to job info. But others like hiring, termination, or even your leave of absence or global assignment, or what else you have? Yes, that's more or less it. So the events that are associated with these things, like hiring, termination, leave of absence, global assignment, this does not trigger automatically. So in those places, you manually select the event reasons. So let's say, for example, I would like to add a new employee in SUCCESSFACTORS. So when I go to a hiring screen, you see the event reasons that are available and you manually select the event reason. Same is the case with termination, or same is the case with leave of absence, or same is the case with global assignment as well. So your event reasons are triggered only at the job information level when you make changes to employee's job or any other things related to the job information. So when we go to take action and change job or compensation information, that's when the event reasons are identified by the system itself. So here in a new hire, so you see the event reasons that we create. Yes, can you please put yourself on mute? I don't need to tell this after so many days. Please, if you're not talking, it's better you put yourself on mute. All right, so so here if you look at it, so these are all new hires created by our folks. So I just select the event reason manually. Similarly, I go to an employee. Let's say I terminate the employee. So when you go to take action and let's say terminate an employee or make an employee go on leave of absence, like this, for example, I'll terminate. I have to manually select the event reasons. So even for a termination action, you need to manually select. You don't have an option that system picks it by by the changes that we make. No, it doesn't. And same is the case with the leave of absence. For example, if you look at this, leave reasons. So these are all leave of absence reasons, nothing but event reasons. And also for global assignment, so you have an event reason. So this is also same. You have one event reason and you can create them. Okay. So only things that system generates by itself is at a job level. So when you make changes to, let's say, job information or compensation information or job relationships, system identifies your event. So here I don't select event reason. Instead, I simply select location. Let's say I'm transferring the employee from location A to B, and when I that's another. So the system will identify the event reason. As we've seen yesterday, this is throwing an error, so I have to go back. So how it does is something that we need to look at. In the first place, how do we create an event reason? So in the same way that we create any other foundation object, remember event reason is also a foundation object. So make sure you guys go to manage organization pane job structures. Go create an event reason. Okay, so the event reason is, let's say, I think we might have already have everything, but I'll just show you one more. So let's say this one is acquired from job market. So maybe this one is too long. Okay, so this is for a higher event reason. This is important. So you map it to the event reason here. So this is the only place that you used by you directly. Otherwise, you don't see events anywhere. So that's one of the reasons why I say don't touch them, because you don't select an event anywhere. So this is again important. So based on the status that you put here, the system takes the employee's status, very important. Because when you run this action, when you select the event reason anywhere, the employee status would be updated according to the employee status that you choose here. So always remember, for example, the leave of absence or termination event reasons should be mapped to the appropriate event employee status actually. Otherwise, you might terminate an employee, but the employee is still active. Doesn't make sense, right? So it should take the employee status from the event reason that we create. So I just created this. So when I go to add new employee, I should be able to see this event reason available. So when I go to add new employee again, so when you see this, acquired from job market, this is available now. So we just created this and it's available in the event reasons for hiring. So why do you see it in hiring? Why don't you see it anywhere else? Is it because I'm mapped to the appropriate event? So as I say, standard events, hiring, termination, rehire, leave of absence, global assignment, all the event reasons mapped to them will be manually selected. Whereas other event reasons that are not manually mapped or manually selected will be system generated based on the logic that we're going to adopt. So how is that done? I'll show you now. So there is an XML for event reason derivation. So it's called event reason derivation data model. So remember, now there is another way as well. So this is something again I have to explain. This is not known to people at all. Usually, as you see, it's these are new things and so before I explain, so there is something called as maybe I'll show you here itself. In the employee central system, when you go to the company settings, when you go to the company settings, so here you see Employee Central version 1, Employee Central version 2. So this Employee Central version 1 was very basic at the beginning of the year. Beginning of the product back in 2012. So this was used back then, not now. So it's called action-driven Employee Central System, whereas this one is Event Reason Derivation Employee Central System. Okay, it's version 2 of Employee Central that we currently work on. Okay, so based on this, what is version 1 and version 2? That's again important for you guys to know. Employee Central version 1. When I activate this model, when I activate this one, you don't see event derivation. What you have to do is, like SAP, you manually have to select the event and event reasons wherever you go and make changes to employee data. Whereas when you come to version 2, so this is event derivation. So event derivation by the system. That means when I make changes to employee data, system might generate the events and event reasons at a job level. So this is an example of the event derivation data model. I hope everyone can see my screen. So these are all the events, okay? So for example, I have a position transfer. I'm using a position transfer. So this one, if I look at it, so this is always the way it is. Okay, remember, this is always the way it works. Every object will have, every event reason will have some code like this. So rule ID, this can be anything that you choose. So rule PT1, instead of PT1, if you put XYZ, put whatever you want. This does not make any difference. Only thing is you need to put some rule ID, which is unique, so that system treats it's a different ID. And then you've got your true output. So this one is your event reason. So I go here, go to admin tools to show you what it is. So this is manage organization pay and job structures. This is event reason. So you see this event reason ID. So this is an event ID that you have. Okay, so this is event reason ID. So this event reason ID that you have, position transfer, is triggered when the conditions apply. Okay, these are the conditions. When I change job info.position, so when I change position of an employee, so this particular event reason would be triggered. So this particular position underscore transfer event reason will be triggered when I change this particular field. That's it. That's what the logic says. Now let's go into the system and see how it works when I make an employee's, when I change an employee's position. So I take action. So I change the job information. So if there are multiple, so this is a test system. Sometimes it's already too much of data put by too many people. Okay, but still remember, usually it should be simple. So when I change only position, okay, so if you look at it, I just changed the position of the employee. So you said this is not working, right?
But here, Praveen, again, you said only for actions, hiring, termination, leave of absence, and global assignment, you will be seeing the event types and event types. But here also, when we are trying to change the position, system has shown us the other reasons.
Really? Where did it show? This is your job information screen. I'm not choosing any events here. I'm just changing the field. I just changed position. So what happened with job classification, guys? Someone tried something on this one?
Yesterday also it happened the same thing. It is taking a lot of time.
It's not taking a lot of time. Actually, I feel someone had put something at a job info, job classification level. Let me quickly
The job
resolve
classification is equal to job ID, right?
Sorry?
Job classification is equal to say job ID.
Job code.
Job code, that's all. So it was not working. Yesterday also I was like the same thing because
That's what I feel. Someone might have made some changes. So we need to see that. Anyway, before it opens up for us, let's quickly go. So what we are saying here is trigger this event reason called position underscore transfer when I change this value. What is the value? Job info dot position. That means if I change the position field, trigger this event reason. Similarly, you know how workflow gets triggered? I would say similar rule. Okay, I'll just put a rule, something like this, and I put conditions and or are, and then I would say if event reason is equal to position underscore transfer, trigger whatever it is. So this particular workflow would be triggered on this condition, the next step when we go to workflows. So a workflow is linked to an event reason and an event reason is linked to a field. That's how both of them work together. Guys, please put yourself on mute. So this is still. So did someone put some trigger or something on job classification? Sorry?
Document. Word.
Yes. So this is the sections. Meanwhile, before it opens, a rule ID is nothing but a unique ID of the rule. So that's your own free flow text for the rule ID. Then followed by true output in the brackets. Whatever you put here should be equal to your event reason ID. Okay. Should be equal to your event reason ID. So this is your event reason ID. And then conditions, it can be and or are conditions. That means when you say that you make this change, or you might also make a different change, let's say, which might say equal ID is equal to job info. I'm just showing you an example how I put another condition in the same place. Location, value is equal to nothing. So if I want to put specific value, you can put value, otherwise you can actually ignore it. You don't need to put it. Inverse is equal to true. That means if you change it, then you need to say trigger it. So you can put this this way as well. So you can say, you can put an R condition instead of an AND condition, and you can say, okay, trigger this particular event reason if any of these changes occur. That means if you change the position or if you change the location, then trigger this event reason ID. So this is how you put a condition. If you put an AND condition here, that means if you're changing a position and you're also changing location, employee, the combination of these two changes will trigger an event reason. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. So let's quickly see if it's. So this is still not working for us. So meanwhile, let's say I go here. So if you look at it, so before it opens up for us, so position reclassification. So this is an AND condition. And it says if you change business unit plus position, so do we need to use XML for an event reason to trigger an event reason? Sorry. No, you cannot do XML at this point. We cannot, we cannot use MDF at this point for this. So only option of triggering event reasons at this point is through XML. So if you look at it, this is how it triggers. All the event reasons will be triggered through this particular data model. So where you have a transfer event, test underscore transfer, which is done if you're changing location and department. Similarly, you've got pay transfer, the company change. So it it triggers a particular event reason. So and there is a demotion. So when you see a lesser job grade than your current one, then you call it a demotion. So similarly, you call it demotion of pay, then you see only sorry.
Sir, sir, already have given us clearly, so why don't we did not change anything for this now, sir?
Sorry, I did not understand, Nagsai.
We don't want to change anything for this reasons in the XML.
See, we're not talking about. No, they're not. I mean, you get a standard XML if you would like to, but you end of the day have to map it to your customer event reasons that they choose. So these are all examples that SUCCESSFACTORS gave, and these are certain things that we created after a point, because there's a training system which is used for the last 2 years, and obviously there would be a lot of things created by different people. So they have a transfer department, transfer location. So you see a lot of them which you might not use in real time. Instead you use only one thing: job change, position change, or organization change, something like that. Only 4 or 5 or maybe 10 or maybe all these things, whatever you see. So these are more or less your reporting purpose reasons that you might choose or anything of that sort. For example, if you would like to have an event reason.
Sorry for disturbing again. Please copy all this in a Word document and why don't you send for us so that we keep it back together for our future use?
Of course, I'll send you XML as well. I don't need to send you a Word document, but I'll send you an XML. So for example, I'll tell you this condition of data change. So any other condition apart from the ones that you're making, let's say, So if we want to call it a data change, you have to put something like this. Okay, so you put a rule ID, the output should be data change, whatever that you choose for data change, and you don't put any conditions. Okay, you put open, you put blank, or maybe instead of and, you can also put R here. So it simply says anything that's coming apart from the ones that you have above, the system will take this data change event reason. So any change that you make at an employee's job information level, system considers that as data change. Okay, that's one of the examples. I don't know our system, guys, honestly.
Praveen, data change is associated to which event?
It's there is an event called change also. So for example, when I go actually you can map it to anything that you wish. I think there is something for data change. You see here, this is the data, sorry, it's event reason, sorry. There is something for data change. Yes, here it is. So there is a standard event called data change as well. So you can map it to data change or event reason. So anything that's not considered as part of your regular changes or any other change is usually considered as data change, and you map it to this event reason like this. So simple, you don't put any conditions within that. You put R condition and leave everything open, it's blank, and that means any other change above, apart from the above, will lead to this particular event reason. Okay. So I'm back, luckily. So let me look at what people have done for job code.
When is it data change event a dynamic one as like job
Yes,
change?
it's a dynamic one. Yes, it's a dynamic one. It's a dynamic one. Maybe I'll upload this data change for you and show you how it triggers. The problem is this particular test system has almost every field mapped somewhere or the other, so it's a problem actually. In real systems, it makes a lot of sense because we don't have so many event reasons. We usually have few of them, and we put apart from those few, everything is considered a data change. So let's see what people have done at a job info level. Job code, job code. I don't see any rules as such. Then so there is a problem somewhere because it says rules are required. So might not be associated with job code. You see, there's some problem with
Praveen, how about say
yes.
like job class? If we say job classification is not required at this point. So, I mean, to save that particular thing, when we do position change, when you try to save, it is asking for the job classification to be as a required. If we, in MDF, if you make it non-required, like not required, so we will be able to save it and go further instead of doing that processing kind of rounding. Was that?
But looks like there is another problem somewhere. Not sure where it is coming from because I tried to disable that one. Job sync now. Okay. No, it should be okay.
Hi, Praveen. Hello.
It's 1 hour is over, right? So might be, so you paid for 1 hour. That could be a reason.
Okay. Yeah, could be the reason. Well pointed out, Banu.
What did he mention that he will take only 1 hour today?
It's not like the
He doesn't mention anything.
when they create a session, I think it might end up for 1 hour. Again, he'll log in something. It's a session when we create session. We usually do that.
Oh, okay. When they schedule it for 1 hour, you mean, right?
Yeah, I think so. That might be.
I think GoToMeeting doesn't work like that. Once you schedule, as long as you keep it going, unless there is another meeting, maybe.
Even I'm not sure. might be.
I tried some meetings, but kept it open, so it was continuous. And right now, I think we are talking about the event reason only, but we need to, Praveen has to tell us that how this event reason is going to kick the event and the event gets kick the workflow, right?
Right. I have a question. Like initially, you know that go to event regions, manage and create event regions similarly what we created with legal entity and all. Then, what is this again? He's creating conditions and all. I just got confused a bit.
No. Actually, the conditions and all that. Okay, so what I understand is that, like, okay, say we have 25 events or whatever that they said. Those are the fixed events, and for each event there may be multiple reasons to say like hire and rehire those things. And event reason can be like you are hiring a full-time employee or you are hiring a hourly employee. So like that, I believe. And so event reason. But my concern is like where this event is getting linked to the workflow and manager approval, blah blah blah. That thing which is in MDF, I believe. That where is that link?
I think that can be done at
still,
level.
still is not come to that level. It's just making us to understanding how to link with the event and event reasons.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Still is not. Still is not. It's just making us understand to event reasons.
Right, right.
And my query is, if we have a basic, as you said, 25 events are available. And obviously, yes, if it's event reason, if we create a new thing, yes, we need to write a condition. Or it should be existing XML should be available automatically, right? So why we need to go and do the existing one?
Yeah, I understand. That's right. But what I guess is a
Hello.
particular
I think Praveen is back.
is back, right?
Sorry, guys, not sure what happens every day at this time. So this cloud one, I mean, looks like the Wi-Fi is also on cloud. So it does something. So we're doing something. Sorry. So I was talking about something from your question, Suresh.
My question, I mean, we were thinking like if we remove the job classification required,
Right.
you said, but you have another way to do it, and you tried and you saved it, but
No, that's not what I did. Actually, there was an error. I tried to fix it. The other way I was talking about is when you were stuck, maybe try to re-import the data model is what I was talking about when we're stuck with suction data model, especially since it's a dummy system.
anyway, I'm not sure that was my my question.
Right, so the system has become a pain actually. So meanwhile, let's quickly...
Ravi,
Yes, go ahead please.
Can we map different event reasons with one event?
Of course, I mean different event reasons can be mapped with one event, because when you actually create it, if you look at the system, right? Please
go ahead.
Sorry. So when you want to create it again, we have to go to the system.
My next question is how will system recognize which event reasons are we, trying to map with the event?
See, event reasons are already mapped to events when we create them. You see, that's what I did when I created that acquired from job market. I mapped it to hire. So likewise, I'll show you some.
That's true, but what about in multiple event reasons?
Yeah, of course, you have multiple event reasons, right? So let's say, for example, I create an event reason called event reason called position exfil, that's position transfer, same as the ones that we already have. Okay, so the status is active, employee status should be active, the event is position change. Okay, so I created something called as position transfer. Similarly, I'm creating another one called as position. Okay, so position reclassification.
Is it based on the event ID then?
Sorry?
Is it based on the event ID? I mean, how does system recognize which event reasons are we talking about under an event?
See, event is irrespective. Actually, once this event ID is picked up, it is mapped to event manually here. So I'm mapping it to an event here. So it does not matter, right? Because I'm manually selecting the event with the event reason. So that means when I go to our XML, when we go to our XML, so when you go to XML, and if you look at conditions, so what I do here is when I say, okay, so this particular change is it's triggering this particular event reason. That's all I say. Okay, so a event reason is triggered based on the logic that we put on the changes. So this particular event reason is already mapped to an event. When I create this event reason, right, it's already mapped to an event. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right. So it's about putting a condition, right?
Of course. So it's about putting a condition. So for example, I have created a event. Let's say I'll just deactivate all of them.
So that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, let me put this. I'm removing all these values actually from the rules because there are too many position reclassifications, transfers. Okay, so let's say I'm going to put it here. So I've removed some some events, and now I'll create a new one. So I would take a new rule ID is equal to rule px4 so this is a rule ID that I put. Then we're going to write true output, right? So I'll just open bracket, close bracket. So it will leave me this one. So here I need to map either this one or the other one that I just created. What was the other one that I just created? PX4, right? PXFR. See, this is the one that I just created. So I can take the ID, put it here. Okay. So once I have it, I have to put conditions. Okay. So again, put the conditions and say either or and would work. So I'm taking an or condition and I'm going to put equal ID is equal to job info dot position. Okay, I just need to check if is there any spellings in caps. It's all okay. Then I need to put inverse is equal to true. When I say inverse, it means when I make a change. Inverse is equal to true. Okay. So this is all I do. I just create an event reason like this, and I put conditions, and then I have to upload it into the system. So I'll just put it here. So I have to put it into the system.
Praveen, is there any way that we can check the syntax here after writing the code?
You can put F7. It should be fine. Rules data model 2. So it says an error actually. So since I just put one condition, maybe you can put end condition. Okay, so this is fine actually. So it looks like there is a problem with our TTD is fine. Okay. So this one can be and as well. Okay. Yep, so I guess that's one of the issues. So this is successful now. Just remove that and, R for the data change. So now I go and see if,
Hello, Praveen.
yes.
Oh, we're not getting the screen. That's complete screen is in a blue.
Now? You don't see it? So now let's see if I can get an employee who is actually having I think we can't use Carla anymore. Her profile is very bad. So we should see if we can use. Let's say I take someone here. So we go and change job information. So we should see PX4 as the one that's picking up. I hope. So still see job classification. Okay, so this is fine actually. Okay. Cool. So what I'm doing here is just take something. This is good. So there is screwed up org structure. I see that's one of the reasons why we don't see appropriate information coming in your job classification. Okay, which is okay. So I'll just change, actually, unfortunately, we changed others also, but it should be fine. So I changed the employee data. There is no workflow triggering, so which is also good for us because I can map it to, I can create a workflow and map it to this one. So I'm changing a position of an employee. I changed position of an employee. So I should see the event reason. I doubt because I've also changed
Praveen, hello.
yes.
Praveen, sorry, I just tried to chat with you, but I couldn't able to see any response, so I had to come off and I'm in a customer location. So I had a question for you. Sorry. Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, Kanchan.
Sure. I'm sorry because I couldn't able to speak to you. I had a few questions today and yesterday, but unfortunately I can't speak. So, but I had to ask you a question here, and I think it was the same question. So my question is, am I audible to you?
Of course. Go ahead. Yeah, of course, yes.
So basically the question is, let's say there is a action code called promotion. Okay, there is action you configure is promotion. Okay, so promotion has two action reason. One is temporary assignment. The other one is the rate increase, normal pay increase. That's a permanent.
Right.
And temporary assignment is a temporary. Let's say for 2 months. Okay, so promotion is action, two action reason, temporary assignment and pay increase, rate increase. Okay, and now we want, when you change the job information, pay scale information like pay scale area, what I'm expecting is that it should trigger either temporary assignment or rate increase. So how system would know which one to trigger?
You should tell the system that which one is used for what, because you're saying temporary assignment and you're saying pay increase. Right. So yes, I mean, as I said, we don't trigger actions, we trigger action reasons. So here we call them event reasons. For everyone's understanding, we don't call them actions anymore. We call them event reasons. So if you look at it, there are so many position change related event reasons. But I deactivated them and created my own position transfer. You see this one, PXFR. So I created this one. Where is it? Sorry.
But Praveen, sorry, my question, I think, let me clarify again.
Let me complete. Okay, look, hold on, Kanchan. Let me complete. I got your question anyway. So let me complete the question. Okay, what I did here is understand your question. I'll tell you. So I chose a particular type of event reason, and I put the conditions. Did I talk about the actual event? No, I'm not talking about the event. I'm talking about the event reasons. So in your case, in promotion event, there are two event reasons. One, let's say promotion with pay increase. And the second one is a, let's say, temporary promotion. Okay. So whatever, temporary assignment. So in my first scenario, I consider it as a promotion with pay increase. Let's say when I change the job of the employee, and an increase in the salary of the employee. You see this one? This is promotion for me with pay increase. Whereas in the second one, let's say I just won't change salary of the employee. Instead, I only change the job code of the employee. This is promotion without pay increase. Two types of promotions. So you change the event reasons accordingly. So system will identify, okay, when I change the job of the employee with an increase in salary, system takes one event reason. And when I change job of the employee without a pay increase, it takes a different event reason. But both of them are mapped to promotion. We can also try that here because our system is...
I just want to add one point. I think both scenario, it has the same. We are changing pay scale area. The only difference is one has a limited date for 2 months and the other one is at 31st/12/9999. This is the only difference. One should be only temporary assignment is only for 2 months, and that will retrieve the previous pay scale. It will come back to the previous pay scale when you complete this event. The other one, that event, the pay increase, that would be
No,
lifetime.
usually
Just
in success
that's
factor
this is very different.
scenario, no, I think in a success factor scenario, usually you don't define an end date. If you go to employee's job information, we don't usually go and define an end date when we change something. Let me show you. So I can't say that. That means it's never that way. So you need to identify the difference. Okay, there should be a difference between both the event reasons, except for the end date, because end date is something that we don't choose.
Yeah, because there are business, this is a very common business scenario. It's very common that an employee can go on a higher duty for 6 months. If somebody gone on leave, another employee can go on a higher duty, temporary assignment for 6 months, and he will come back. And but there is no difference rather than the dates.
I don't think
how we handle in SUCCESSFACTOR. That's my question.
I don't think we call it a promotion, at least, because usually it's a temporary assignment. That's it. It's not a promotion.
You can say I'm using word promotion. You can say pay increase. Both are pay increase. One is temporary increase. The other one is the permanent increase. Both are action using the same event. In SAP, like we have the same event, but there are multiple event reasons. So we select event reason, right, in SAP, whereas in SUCCESSFACTOR we are not selecting. As you said, that it is triggering the action, event reason based on the rules you written in XML.
Right.
Okay, not the event.
Of course not. So my point is, so what differentiates your temporary assignment with a regular promotion?
Yeah.
Don't I mean, as I said, we don't have an end date. We don't have an end date in SUCCESSFACTOR.
The same event. Yeah.
So yes, event can be seen, but what differentiates between a temporary promotion and regular promotion? There should be something which says temporary to recognize it. Because even if you, let's say, give it for 3 months, what system does usually, as far as I see it, is you go increase the salary for 3 months of the employee, and after 3 months you might be reducing the salary, which is like a demotion.
Yeah,
okay,
adding and
so that's not a standard way. I don't think that's the standard way of doing it, at least, because for 3 months you don't take the employee to a different level unless until there is a different identifier which says he's on a temporary assignment.
Then we can use a custom field, right?
You can use a custom field. I mean, no one is stopping you from using a custom field. In that case, we might have to see how we map it. Because just think from a system perspective. As you see, there is only effective date as of in SUCCESSFACTORS. Even in SAP, if you look at SAP Info Type 8, you can simply go and increase the salary. Okay, for 3 months you put it and you put it back, but you don't say, okay, this is a temporary, this is a permanent or something. In
SAP, it has actually, in SAP, it has, it's called the alternative pay scale. It is hidden in Info Type 8, so you can store that those values cannot be viewed in, it is stored in the database. It's called comparison pay scale that is used for the temporary assignment. But
so how do you plan to capture it in SUCCESSFACTORS is an important point, because it's not a standard pay increase as you said. Now we have a different point. You have an alternative pay scale that you are assigning, but not the regular pay scale changes. You see? But if that is the case, how do you map it? If there is a separate field which identifies it, it resolves your problem.
Yeah, no, my question was, Praveen, is not only pay scale, it is just a common thing. My question is that for any action, my overall question is not on pay scale, like any action, if you have a multiple action reason, any action have a multiple action reason. So the event triggers based on the event reasons, right, as you said. Okay.
Right.
So we always have to have an event reason, and that event reason has to map with a particular action, particular event. Okay. So it always, my question is that mean that always every event reason should have a unique logic behind it, not based on event.
Right. Okay. So why do we have multiple event reasons? When you don't have a logic, it doesn't make sense, right? Because how do we differentiate event reason from event?
Why I was asking, Praveen, the question is because you said that when we, like, based on our understanding, when you change the job information, particular field, like position change or department change, location change, it triggers a particular event. automatically, right? So my question was that if it triggering a particular event, if so that means a particular event is getting triggered, but that event may have multiple reasons. So which one to trigger?
Hold on. This is where you're confusing. I think you're getting confused and you might be confusing others also. We're not triggering events. Never.
Triggering reasons. That I know. Yeah.
Event reasons. Okay. Events, you don't compare it with your SAP because SAP works differently. Their event reasons are insignificant. Here, event reasons are very, very significant. For example, an event reason can, so let's say 4 event reasons might be part of one event. That does not mean 4 of them are same. 4 of them are unique. They are triggered based on a unique combination of change that you make. Okay, so they're not unique. For example, I changed this one. I changed position, and in the logic I put this one. So this is what I put in my logic, where I go and said my event reason called this one position transfer when this changes. Right? This is what I just did. And system triggered this event reason based on the change I made to position. System is taking this, not this. So when there are, let's say, 4 different types of event reasons under position change, then the 4 should be meaningful. Why you have 4? The 4 should be different, right? So you might have a position transfer, you might have a position transfer with pay increase. In that case, if there's a position transfer with pay increase, let me show you that scenario maybe. That makes better, that makes you feel better.
Yeah, I think I got it, Praveen. I think it's based on reason. Nothing is based on event. Event is basically just linked to reason. That's it.
Yeah, nothing is event. Event is nothing. It's all. Even if you look at the logic or the data model name, it says event reason, not event derivation.
Thank you, Praveen. Yeah, you can carry on, Praveen. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe since we discussed about it, I'll create a new event reason quickly. Or maybe I'll just copy paste this stuff. Okay. So let me go to this quickly. So what I'm doing is, so I'm creating a position transfer with pay. So we have PX fee, this one we just created PXFR. Now I put P. So this one is position transfer with pay. Okay. So that means I'm increasing the employee's salary when I change. So it's the same event, position change, but that was without pay and this one is with pay. Okay. So I just created this one. So what I do is I put this condition of this, the event reason is mapped, and also I'm saying this. I'm changing the annual salary. If there is an increase in annual salary and change in position, there's an AND condition. So this should work. So this is my logic. So the logic is, so when you change.
Praveen Babu here, sorry to interrupt. The request you mentioned, pay compensation group dot annualize the salary. Is this a standard one we have to pick? And if it is standard, where we have to pick?
So this one is annualized salary field. So that means I'm changing the annualized salary field. So if you go to your with
the normal terminology, or there should be a specific terminology where we have to use this?
So this is a standard. So I'm saying I'm increasing annual salary. I'll show you the field. So remember pay component groups and pay components when we discussed initially about them. Pay components are your basic pay components like basic salary or everything. Whereas pay component group is the annual salary, total annual salary.
Non-recurring pay component.
No, I'll show you. Give me a second. Let me upload this data model in the system, and then I'll show you. Okay, this has been done, completed. Okay, so let me come to an employee. So what was the employee that was recently changed? Okay, so I'm taking the same employee. Looks Mexican employees is better. So what I'll do is I'll quickly delete this record. Guys, you see now this one, now you know position transfer triggered fine. So I'm deleting so that I can use the same position again. So I deleted the record. So this employee stays as what he was before. So we can use the same employees and same conditions also because, looks like we can put a workflow to the same event stuff, which is not available. So now I'm making changes again. So what I'm doing is I'm making changes to employees, job information and compensation information. Okay, so I'm changing these two. So I can choose this position. So I can choose this position. And what I'm doing here is, in addition to this, I'm increasing the no results. Sorry. I'll quickly do something for you. Pay component, quickly base salary. Base salary. I can assign this to maybe I'll create one for just creating one quickly, guys. So I know it might be late for a few of you, but we'll complete this topic. So this base salary for Mexico. What's the Mexican currency? Anyone? Quickly. Mexican
Peso.
Peso. Looks like it's not available, so monthly recurring is, this is recurring pay component, display and self-service is, override is, self-service description, running comp both. So component group, annualized salary. Okay, so here maybe I have to create one for the component group for Mexico. Done, guys, sorry. But I have to do something, you see.
Can we do this tomorrow, Praveen?
Yes, we can, actually. Just trying to see if I can quickly add some payment so that I'm done. If that does not come, we'll close here. We'll continue tomorrow. Just want to see if the pay components turns up.
We need to link it to the data something for the compensation.
Sorry, no, it should work. So it's just the pay components here. Okay, it will work, guys. Let's see, monthly. Oh. No, I think we'll continue tomorrow, guys. That's fine. So we'll continue this, and we'll see this one getting triggered.
Praveen?
Yes.
Can you send me? Can you send us that?
XML, I'll send you.
Yeah,
Send to the group.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Praveen. Hello?
Yes.
Hello, Praveen? One thing. Assignment that saying the conditions. If the salary, if the positions were changed in the salary, this was the condition to be placed so that we can easily understand and keep it with the service.
I could not understand your thing, Nagasai, because I'm not sure. Your voice is not so clear.
Hello?
Yes?
Yeah, just type it. I'll just say to you tomorrow. We'll just talk tomorrow.
Okay, sure, no problem. Yep.
Thank you, Praveen. Thank you, and have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Praveen, thanks for your time, Praveen.
Yeah, bye.